Reagan and Mob cross-dressing. Don't mind me as I internally scream in myself. Oh god. That's something I don't want to see. When you know Reagan and like Mob are like strutting their stuff into the female-only school, like yeah, look at that, look at that. You guys look like a fucking bunch, like especially you Reagan, you look like a fucking weirdo, like that. You look like you're generally a paedophile. Don't like that. It's good to do it. And one thing I'm going to mention all that, like this is weird, since I know you mentioned the endings in like a separate video or like a different kind of, you know, at the ending. I want to talk about the ending at first because like as much as I love the opening of the series and all that, I will say this is the like ending song that I wish that we had for like, you know, like One Punch Man instead of the nay, hi. It's like fuck off with that song. It's like when you get this really cool fucking inkly like drawn all that sketch. I love that one. It's just all Reagan showing how he gets up in the morning. It's pimp ass as fuck and it's badass and all that. Has an amazing art style and pretty much the main like crux of the episode, which I know a lot of people are probably gonna be like, okay, what the fuck is up? Is like when we go like a lot of it was like Mob just right at the start of the episode. It was like, oh by the way and all that, he's like trying to find his place in life and all that. And he's definitely like at a crossroads of in his life, and it's like the only thing he cares about is like being with his girl and all that. He's like, you know, I want to confess to her, I want to, you know, like hold hands with her. And when we found later on, it's like, yeah, he was doing all this really cool, you know, ESP shit and all that to her, and then she was like, oh, I'm bored now seeing all your ESP shit and seeing dogs fly, and it's just like, oh no, I see manly people and all that running, that's cool instead. And Mob is just there, it's just like, oh, and it's just like, oh, I just want to be this. And then Reagan's trying to get him to like a female-only school where it's like, okay, we've got a job here, Mob. And it's like, but these guys over here from like the fucking Psycho Club and all that trying to get me, I don't give a fuck, get over here. Like that is like, alright, let me just think about it tomorrow. Or who are just like the Esper Club kind of way. I was just like, we just want to like, we just want to dick around. Only the actual president and all that agrees. But it's like, I love like just the little references you get there. You're like, oh my god, that's a DS. Oh my god, that's a Game Boy. Oh my god, that guy's reading One Punch Man. Like it's like, yeah, like it's like that's what you thinking right there. It's like, holy shit, he's reading One Punch Man. I was like, oh shit, you mean the show and all that I've rewatched a million times already? And it's like, yeah, that's definitely it. And then kind of like a bit like, I think it kind of still hits home in the show where it's like, Mob, I'm more interested to see what's happening later down the line with this whole, like, you know, meter that's building up, where it's like we're halfway already around the meter, and it seems like next week's episode, like, shit is going to hit the fan, so I'm wondering, like, what's going to be going, if that's, like, going to be, like, something like, at, like, 70, 80, 90, like, or is that near snapping and all that. The thing is with, like, Mob Psycho, I've definitely learned all that, and it's, like, coming from 2 episodes, mind you, this is still 2 episodes opinion, but I remember saying this in the first episode review, is that Mob is not as interesting as Reagan, because Reagan is like, he is the comedy, he is the, you know, the live show, he's the talk show. Mob is very quiet, he keeps to himself, and he's just like, oh, you know, oh, that's, you know, that's kind of his character, and it's just like, oh, you know, hi guys, and all that, I'm kind of cool, and I'm kind of shy. Like, you know, definitely that's kind of like how I take a lot of Japanese, like, people that age is just, you know, they want to keep to themselves, they're not doing too good at, like, you know, school and all that. It's just like, I just want to live my life. I just want to enjoy myself. And it's just like, definitely when Mob fought that one, like, ghost at the end who was like, you're at this point and all that about becoming me, and saying, you know, you're never going to live out your lives. It's like, well, fuck, actually, that was kind of a little bit deep for an episode of Mob Psycho, I've got to admit. And coming into it, it was like, he immediately, like, the next day when the school president and all that is there, and it's just like, oh, by the way, we've made this, this is the new, like, whole, like, class and all that, the club that's going to be here, and it's the bodybuilding club and all that, all these muscular Yakuza men, and it's just like, oh, Mob comes in, he's like, yeah, I'm here to sign, and then he just turns around and goes to the bodybuilding club, I'm here to sign with the bodybuilding club. Oh, I was laughing. I was like, this motherfucker. I was like, this piece of dog shit. I love him like that. I was like, oh, what a heel turn. What a fucking heel like that for the fucking Mob to do that at the end. It's like, hey, he wants to get the girl at the end of the day. That's a straight up fact and all that. It's like, he ain't going to be there the nice guy and saying like, hey, I'm going to let these guys do what the hell they want and chill like that, have some like cookies and all that, like snacks. And it's like, no. Fuck that. Fuck that noise. It's all about, I want my girl, I want to just do this. I want to look like a hunk when I do it. But it's just like, on that, the episode, I feel like definitely this was the part 1 episode of the show. I think I way enjoyed like the first episode than I did with the second episode. I still think it was funny at some points and all that, but I think like this is definitely going to be a lot more like payoff, and it's like I don't know, the comedy works a lot more where it's like the whole thing with like definitely with like like One Punch Man's one is that it focuses a lot, and I mean a lot, on like going onto it, and it was like, oh, let's focus on comedy that's a lot more kind of darker and a lot more closer to home with maybe some of the watchers. Whilst with One Punch Man, it was like, yeah, let's just make it action. Let's go in there. Let's have those stupid little comedy bits here and there and all that. And it's just like, that's how it is. And this, you know, and I love my comedy, and I love different parts of comedy. I think like I'm more of a fan of slapstick, but dark comedy when it's right, like Welcome to the NHK, can get me. And I think like the show's trying to balance it. I think the show is trying to have like a bit of like, oh god, some of the readers are like this, and that's why they might find it funny, but like I guess like the people and all that who lives aren't, you know, full of shit and all that, and it's like, oh, there are some good parts, so they're going into it and maybe not get it. And it's like, I can definitely see why the show is not having the big blow up. Like One Punch Man just came out at the right time. But I definitely do say the art direction and stuff like that of the show is fantastic, and they're making the series look way better than what the actual manga is. And I really hope at some point they do release Mob Psycho. I really do hope as well that they do release the original version of One Punch Man. I would pick that up, even though it's a webcomic and all that. I would still pick it up and all that. I know that's like a thing where it's like, we don't know if that's going to happen. With Mob Psycho, it's an official manga, so yeah, that could be a thing, but we'll have to wait and see. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Overall, I still think I really enjoyed the episode. I was laughing when they were cross-dressing, and definitely at the end of the episode as well. So overall, I'll probably give it like a 7.5 out of 10. I think it was definitely a good episode. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I will see you guys though next time.